So apparently, I posted that video about Indian men being worst. Me myself having an Indian passport, I'm also putting myself in that category. Of course, I'm an Indian man, no? So that's the irony of the whole thing. So Indian men are the worst. But a couple of women, they sincerely asked me, why is it that Indian men are like this? Misbehaving with women, asking females, show me your bobs, vagine, BOBSVEGENE, or sending random females, I love you, on social media. They don't know the female, I love you. And okay, on a smaller, harmless interaction, it's more like that. But then it goes to a level higher where when they see a female on the road or somewhere, they will walk behind her, they will keep stalking her. And then we have these incidents that come in the paper where they flash their private parts, or they grope the female. Especially if you go to a crowded place like a fair, or they call it a mela, or there's an event, and if it's dark or they are in a group, Indian men go in groups and group females. Okay, now let's get one thing out of the way. Okay, I've never said all Indian men are like this. Anyone with common sense would know you can never say all. Okay, but there is a sizable majority of Indian men who behave like this, and they have certain mannerisms. So now the question is not, oh, all men. The question rather you should ask yourself is, why is it that Indian men behave like this? Why? Now, if you ask me percentage, there's no way to measure this. What, are you going to conduct a nationwide India all men survey? And who's going to tell you the truth? Okay, so let's forget about the percentage, how many men, what percent, and let's stop denying that there is a problem. Let's admit there is an issue, but let's try to focus on why. And I can give you, being an Indian passport holder, why I say Indian passport holder? Because I was not born in India, but I had Indian parents, South Indian parents. We were born and raised in the, you could say, semi-Indian manner, but predominantly Indian. And I interacted with a lot of Indians. And yes, because as time went on, I started interacting with people in India, and it becomes obvious why. So here are my reasons. You tell me whether what I'm saying is right or wrong. Okay, I'll give you around 5 or 6 reasons. Feel free to comment down below. See, the first one starts with let's go right to the first part, that is being born in an Indian family. When you're born in an Indian family, here's a simple thing. Your family environment, your upbringing, the women in the family, the interactions, that is a foundation step. How many Indian families do you know where in their childhood itself, the boy who is born there is taught how to interact with the girls? How many? Is allowed to meet other girls, is allowed to be around other girls. If you see right from childhood, the time they are born, there's hardly any interaction. The boys will play with boys, girls will play with girls. I don't think there are, the majority of Indian families, the boys are allowed to play with girls. Even in school, boys are encouraged to play with boys, girls are encouraged to play with girls. And the biggest thing of all is, if a girl were to play with a boy, they would say he's very tomboyish, and a boy would play with girls, he would get bullied and made fun of. So it starts right from the time they are born. And when you are talking of being born in an Indian family, and you talk about the upbringing, tell me, what kind of communication does a father have with his son? What kind of communication does a mother have with her son? There's hardly any. The mother is maybe a housewife cooking, and she has 110 different things on her head, even if she's a housewife. And if she's not a housewife, she'll be going to work. The father will be going to work. So where does this boy have somebody where he can sit and talk? And remember, because the earning capacity of an average Indian family is very low. There's so much of traveling to do. There is so much of, you take a bus, then you take a train, then you take another bus. Then you have to reach work, and you have to sit down and finish work and then come back. By the time you're exhausted. So where are you going to have time to educate and speak to a boy? And in an Indian family, the values are, the father is up there. Then comes the mother or the elders, or then comes a mother. Then there's a hierarchy level. So the boy cannot run to the father and just talk so easily. In fact, many boys are very afraid to talk to their parents. Many of them, many Indian families even today, they don't have open communication. And the parents themselves, what are they exposed to in life? Where I'll tell you, there are quite a number of Indian families where the father or the mother, they don't talk. They don't know how to raise a child. They don't know how to give proper upbringing. They don't believe in open communication. So it starts right from the grassroots level, that is childhood. Okay, the second part is the upbringing. And when you have a father whose whole day gets spent going to work and coming back and is dead exhausted, you think the boy can go to the father, hey dad, I want to talk to this girl and all that. The dad is more interested in, did you study? Did you do this? Did you do that? So there's no communication. So now comes the next part. Friends. So obviously the boy, an Indian boy, will not have his parents to talk to, will not have any elders to talk to. He will go to meet his friends. And now the friends, what are they exposed to? They live in a small little bubble of theirs, a small little world, where they interact with guys in the school, where they meet down the building or outside their house to play. And they are exposed to a very limited world, the real world. Okay, today you have smartphone, you might have free internet, Wi-Fi from somewhere, you'll have free apps. But now here's the problem. When you're being exposed to all these apps, these videos, what do they show you online? They'll just show you half-naked women. They will show you sex. And obviously, if you can access the internet, you will see the steamy, clickable links. You'll see girls showing their sexy body parts, acting sexy. So boys, obviously, filled with testosterone, filled with curiosity, they'll be like, oh wow, look at this girl, and she's showing this and he's doing that. And then obviously boys get because they're visual, they will check adult sites, they will want to see adult movies, they'll want to see adult images. So there the curiosity and eagerness of sex gets introduced. I mean, the number of messages and DMs and emails I receive from boys who are addicted to porn, who are addicted to sexual content, who are addicted to masturbating. Like, it's not surprising when I get even a 16-year-old boy telling me I'm masturbating 11 times a day, because these images, these video clips, these erotic kind of fantasies are replaying in their head. And when you don't have anything else to do and divert your attention to, how else do you give pleasure? And then obviously when you keep replaying these images over and over again, it becomes a obsession, a fantasy, right? So all these areas they build up. And then finally, imagine you have lived your entire life where you don't know how to interact with a female. You just don't know how to interact with a female. You don't know how to behave. You don't know how to talk. And then the only interaction you have is everything that is online. And your image and your thinking is shaped by video clips of stuff that is not natural. In porn, they show the girl is dying for doing all these strange and bizarre acts. They show that the girl actually wants all these strange, bizarre, forceful acts of sex. So what does the uneducated mind think? Oh, girls like this. And finally, lo and behold, one fine day you see a girl. What is going to... It's like you have been hungry. You have not eaten food for hours and hours. You're seriously hungry. You're starved. And then think, not eaten for hours, not eaten for days, and all of a sudden someone keeps food in front of you. I mean, you're going to go mad, right? We have had cases where people are so hungry because they didn't get food for a day. They even will smash a window and they'll grab the food and run away because hunger, it drives people mad. In the same way, this is like sexual hunger. They are not able to get girls from their society because obviously everyone knows everyone. You can't misbehave with another girl's family. You can't misbehave with the girls in your family. So then you begin to think, okay, where do I interact? Which girls do I meet up? And obviously Indian girls, some of them who are born in the same neighborhood are pretty rough and tough because they know you. And they'll be like, you misbehave with us, we'll tell your parents, and the parents will beat Jesus out of them. So here you get an unknown female who you know she can't do anything to you. Her parents are not there, nobody is there. So what do you expect? And that is where these guys behave like this. Now, why is it guys send girls a DM, show me your bobs, show me your vagine, show me I love you? Because they don't know how to behave. You know, when I conducted a training program in one of my sessions, we have all these adults who are there, 30-year-old plus, and I was giving them the art of communication. And then there was this banker guy. I'll obviously not give his name. And we had one of my clients who was a beauty pageant female and very successful. So I asked him, impress this female. Let's see, how do you do it? Through the spoken word. Imagine, he is an educated banker from India who is based in Dubai. This happened, I think 10 years ago. He stood up, went to the girl, and this actual, we are all sitting in a circle and I'm coaching them. So he stood there, he didn't know what to say. He got down on one knee and said, I love you. Seriously, that's what he said, I love you. And everyone was like, what? And this female was like, she burst out laughing. To save the embarrassment, I said, okay, fine, have a seat. At least he tried. So I told, give him applause. And because it was so bloody embarrassing, I said, relax. But I'm not giving applause because you did the right thing. You at least attempted, but it's the absolute wrong thing to do. So, in fact, I'll tell you, I got a video link of an Indian, I didn't know this, but there's one Indian YouTuber based in, I think Pattaya or Phuket, Pattaya. He makes videos with the bar girls, females and prostitutes, and I don't know how he's able to do that, or, I mean, doesn't he have any, like, family who's watching? This guy actually, he takes videos with bar girls and he's kissing them on the cheek. He's a very dark looking guy with beard, looks very unkempt, and he's talking about being with whores and sleeping with whores. And I was like, and he has a huge following. I mean, I think he had close to 500,000 plus subscribers. Only thing he talks about is walking street and prostitutes and all that. And that is why you'll get so many Indian tourists who come to Thailand or go to Bali, or they go to all these third world countries where it's affordable and they can go to the red light district because they are sex starved, man. See, the baseline problem is, one is they don't get to interact. Second one is society has made it taboo. Third one is when they do get the opportunity, they just don't know what to say, what to do. They lose total control. And that is why Indian men are the way they are. It's not that they are evil, or it's just that they are very, for lack of a better word, deprived. Now, this is not to say that people from Europe are saints. Most of the sexpat or sex tourism comes from these countries. These men equally want, if not the same, if not the worst, even the same kind of needs as any other man. But the problem with our Indian guys is they purchasing power is low. They don't know how to talk, and they want females. If they had the money, if they knew how to behave, then maybe this wouldn't be so much of a issue. The problem is they don't have the money, they don't know what to do about it, and yes, on top of that, they're desperate. So, lo and behold, and then when you have India's population that is so big, with so many men frustrated with their friends, and they have that closed mindset, and each one talking all nonsense. They believe they are smart, they believe they're intelligent, they believe they're, oh, I'm God's gift to mankind, and they watch these Hindi movies where the hero dresses up like that, and the impact of media, social media and all that brainwashes these guys into being like this. In fact, I'll tell you, it's not just these uneducated people. There are even educated people who seriously suffer from this. So now, obviously, the question is, what is the solution? Solution is, see, if you're hungry, what is the solution? You eat food. Correct? Sadly, our Indian men, the solution that they see is have sex or get married. So because they can't have sex openly, or they can't get sexual partners, they either trick a female by telling her, I love you, I'll marry you, and they get sex, or they actually end up getting married because they can't control it. And lo and behold, after they get the partner, it's less about having a friend and more about satisfying their sexual desires. And then if family planning is not put into equation, you start having kids, and the same vicious cycle repeats itself. It's a terrible thing, man. I would say the only solution, if you could possibly have done it, it would be right from the time you give birth to a child. You have to spend time with the child. You have to help, guide with the upbringing. These things the parents don't do. And then they leave them with their friends. And today they leave them with their smart device, apps, free internet or cheap internet. Well, you have a recipe for disaster. So what else can you do? So this is the problem why our Indian men are like this. And is there a solution? Well, I would say don't get married. But, focus on earning money, and where you have to satisfy yourself. Hopefully, you have areas where safe sex can be practiced. And if that is not there, then you have to think of other ways and means which are legal and moral, so to speak. See, it's very easy for me to say, follow ABCD. In fact, I even have one guy who's educated, not highly educated, in my group. His parents are strict, his relatives are strict, the society lives in is strict. He is sexually frustrated, he wants to get married, and the worst part is no girl wants to marry him because he's not rich. Now, what solution do you recommend for this guy? Very easy to talk, right? He is seriously frustrated. He has been, I think, for 5 years. And out of desperation, he went to one of these apps where you can chat with a so supposedly real female, and he ended up getting scammed of his money. So, go figure. I don't see any solution unless one is the parent does their job, and if the parent doesn't do their job, the young man or man, Indian man, has to focus on earning enough and more money, and then going and satisfying his urges in a smart way. What else can you do? There's only so much a hand can do, so much an imagination can do, right? So yeah, these are the reasons in general why Indian men are like this, and given the number of Indian men, I don't think this is the first and this will not be the last time you will hear of another incident like this. It's sad, but this is one of the serious realities of our Indian men. Their upbringing, their education, their exposure, their mentality. Too many variables here to focus on. And there's no miracle that's going to happen, at least anytime soon. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Good, bad, ugly. Feel free. It's me signing off. And if you have any solution, love to hear it from you. You guys take care.